Good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of the World Today for the week. World Today is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria about a zonal station comprising news and feature. In the lineup, Osun Rec urges registered voters to collect PVCs. NSCDC impounds truck of adulterated petrol. On the foreign scene, Prime Minister pledges support for fire officials, says France wildfire will burn for months. 27 general elections, while the feature is on Goblin Shark. My name is Nii Downsy. To stay tuned. And from my colleague
Remy Omolola, you can also listen to us via www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Prem FM 93.5. Be conscious of your environment. Report any suspicious activity to relevant authorities. Now, the news in full. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has disclosed that 37.5% of permanent voter card PVCs available for collection in Osun State have so far been collected by eligible voters ahead of the August 15 governorship election. The resident electoral commissioner in Osun State, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Babalola, disclosed this during the Osun Citizens Town Hall meeting held in Osogbo, the state capital. According to her, 192,702 PVCs have so far been collected, representing 37.5% of the cards available for distribution. Mrs. Babalola urged eligible voters who are yet to collect their PVCs to take advantage of the ongoing exercise, stressing the importance of collecting their cards ahead of the election. INEC commenced the distribution of PVCs across the 332 registration areas in the state on July 22, with the exercise scheduled to continue until July 28. The Commission will subsequently move the distribution exercise to its local government area offices from July 29 to August 7. The REC said the collection exercise is being conducted daily, including weekends, between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
The Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Prince Adewale Egbedu, has condemned the alleged invasion of an independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) office located at Oyinlola DC School, Ward 2, Okuku, and the reported theft of permanent voter cards PVCs by suspected hoodlums. Prince Egbedu, in a statement through the Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Olamide Tiamiyu, described the incident as a grave assault on the nation's democracy and the sanctity of the electoral process. The Speaker called on security agencies to launch an immediate, thorough, and impartial investigation into the incident, identify those responsible, and ensure they are brought to justice in accordance with the law.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force, Osun State Command, has launched investigation into an alleged attack on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) officials in Oduotsin local government area by suspected hoodlums carting away permanent voter cards PVCs. This is contained in a statement in Osogbo by the spokesperson for the command, Mr. Abiodun Ojelabi. The statement noted that the Commission of Police in the state, Mr. Ibrahim Gotan, condemned the incident and has directed a comprehensive investigation with a view to identifying, arresting, and prosecuting the perpetrators, as well as recovering the PVCs. Officials of INEC in Osun State who are distributing permanent voter cards PVCs in Oyinlola DC Primary School, Ward 2, Oduotsi local government area were attacked by armed thugs who reportedly fired sporadically into the air and carted away 3 packs of PVCs.
The role of education in bridging the gap between academic institutions and society has taken center stage as stakeholders gathered for a program focused on the theme Education for Town and Gown, the functionality question. The program, organized by the Olagoke Education Legacy OLEG of Shafaldin in Islam, was held at Wakajaye, Ibadan, Oyo State. While speaking, founder Shafaldin in Islam, Professor Sabit Olagoke, stressed the need for stronger collaboration between institutions of learning, government, industry, and local communities to ensure that education remained practical, relevant, and responsive to societal needs. He noted that while higher institutions continue to produce graduates, greater emphasis should be placed on research, innovation, and entrepreneurship that directly address community challenges and contribute to national development. Professor Lagoke also called for improved partnerships that would promote knowledge transfer, encourage skills development, and make academic research more beneficial to society. He expressed optimism that sustained engagement between the town and gown would enhance the quality of education, boost economic growth, and produce graduates equipped to meet the demands of the modern world.
The 2026 Basic Education Certificate Examination (BECE) has commenced across Oyo State. Radio Nigeria correspondent who went round Ibadan metropolis observed in some schools visited at Akpata, Monia, Ring Road, General Gas and Iwo Road that the students were excited and full of expectation to sit for the examinations. In an interview, one of the vice principals at Akpata Grammar School, Logudu, Mrs. Mojisola Olawale, explained that adequate preparation had been put in place to ensure a smooth exercise.
Recently, the Oyo State government introduced daily environmental sanitation across the state, replacing the weekly exercise, which was regarded as ineffective in promoting cleanliness in communities, markets, and other public places.
Recently,
Radio Nigeria correspondent Ayodele Olaopa takes a look at its sustainability.
the Oyo State government introduced daily environmental sanitation across the state, replacing the weekly exercise, which was described as not too effective in promoting cleanliness in communities, markets, industries, and other public places. The new policy is aimed at sustaining a cleaner and healthier environment, particularly in Ibadan, the state capital, where indiscriminate waste disposal has remained a major concern. While many residents believe the daily exercise will better address the problem of dirty environment in part of the metropolis, others express skepticism, saying most government policy fail due to poor implementation and monitoring. Speaking on the initiative, the Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Mr. Ademola Aderinto, said the ministry had put measures in place to enforce the policy through public campaigns and awareness programs.
Sensitize the market. We want them to be doing daily environmental sanitation in their markets. We want them to comply with the PSP, the private sector, that were given to them for collection.
The commissioner, who spoke through the Director of Environmental Services in the ministry, Mrs. Oluseun Areo, noted that making daily sanitation a habit was key to sustaining hygienic environment.
We want to implore the general public to please take over these daily sanitation practices from the government, from the Ministry of Environment, and put it into practice.
Mr. Aderinto further emphasized the need for residents to separate waste into different bins to aid proper management, adding that recyclable refuse could also serve as an extra token rather than being treated completely as waste. However, reaction from the grassroots suggests a gap in public awareness. As a community leader and trader at Ojuni Akobo Market, Mr. Oyeniyi Oluyinka said he was neither aware of nor had he seen any form of campaign or enforcement by government officials on the daily sanitation exercise.
I do not see anything of such in the society because I do go out every day and I don't notice anything.
Mr. Oluyinka urged government to ensure serious and consistent implementation of its policies for the benefit of the general public.
They are the ones who are supposed to be serious about the people so that the community and environment will be very, very neat and there will be sanity everywhere.
Residents have therefore called on the government to provide adequate waste collection bins in markets and residential areas across the state, saying it will help curb indiscriminate dumping of refuse along major roads, thereby our environment cleaner and healthier in Ibadan. Ayodele Olaopa, Radio Nigeria.
Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) Anambra State Command has arrested a suspect identified as Sunday Uke over the alleged possession of a truck conveying 45,000 liters of suspected adulterated premium motor spirit (PMS) known as petrol. The suspect was also accused of assaulting NSCDC personnel during the operation. In a statement by the head of Media and Tactical Operation of the NSCDC, Anambra State Command, Edwin Okadibo, the suspect and the truck were intercepted at the Ansia on the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway in Awka by the command's anti-vandalism squad during the proactive intelligence-led operation. The NSCD says the command will not tolerate any form of lawlessness or attacks on its personnel while carrying out their lawful duties.
Major General Everest Okoro has assumed office as the 12th General Officer Commanding GOC of the 6th Division, Nigerian Army, and Land Component Commander of Joint Task Force South-South, Operation Delta Safe, following the recent redeployment of senior officers by the Nigerian Army. The change of command ceremony was held at the headquarters of the 6th Division in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. In his farewell address, the outgoing GOC, Major General Emmanuel Emeka, appreciated the Chief of Defense Staff and the Chief of Army Staff for the opportunity to serve, while commending officers and soldiers of the division for their discipline, loyalty, and professionalism throughout his tenure. He urged the incoming commander to sustain the momentum and charged personnel to remain disciplined, professional, and committed to safeguarding the integrity of the Nigerian Army. In his inaugural remarks, Major General Okoro expressed appreciation to Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, for the confidence reposed on him. He pledged to build on the achievements of his predecessor by strengthening the protection of critical national infrastructure and sustaining efforts aimed at boosting oil production in the Niger Delta.
The Defense Headquarters, in collaboration with the International Committee of the Red Cross (ICRC), has launched a specialized battlefield mortuary affairs program to improve the identification, recovery, and dignified management of soldiers killed in combat. The week-long training holding at the Nigerian Air Force Base Kaduna from today till Saturday has participants drawn from the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Air Force. Speaking at the opening ceremony, the Deputy Director, Defense Identification Center, Air Commodore Chukwuma Ohanile, described the program as a landmark initiative designed to address the growing challenges associated with battlefield death amid the increasing tempo of military operations across the country. He said the initiative, organized in collaboration with ICRC, will equip participants with the knowledge and skills required for military personnel identification and the dignified management of the dead. Air Commodore Ohanile said the training will deal with issues and challenges of military personnel identification and dignified management of the dead, describing the management of the dead in conflict situation as both a humanitarian and a moral responsibility.
This is the world today, the stories that made the headline. Osun Rec has urged registered voters to collect PVCs. NSCDC impounded truck of adulterated petrol. Still to come, Prime Minister pledges support for Ukraine. Fire officials says France wildfire will burn for months. Do stay with us.
You're still with us on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria and the World News. Now to the foreign scene. UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham has pledged to continue the UK's unwavering support for Ukraine ahead of meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Report says the Ukrainian president will become the Prime Minister's first international visitor since he took office a week ago. Mr. Burnham is expected to announce the sharing of the intellectual property behind the UK's new Stone Cloak electronic warfare system during their visit to a naval base to enable Ukraine produce the technology at scale. The Ministry of Defense had already given thousands of devices to Ukraine forces to bolster their drone operations.
The National Federation of Firefighters says the ongoing wildfire in the Gironde region of France will burn for weeks and can take months to fully extinguish. Spokesman for France's National Federation of Firefighters, Lieutenant Colonel David Anotel, warned that the intensity of the fire would decrease, but it would take time. With another heat wave forecast this week, Colonel Anotel said the conditions become unfavorable for the people. Madrid's regional president, Isabel Ayuso, has lauded the work of firefighters tackling the blazes and risking their lives, urging residents to be cautious as the fire is still active.
3 persons have been killed and several others injured following a shooting at a food festival near the Space Needle in Seattle, USA. Mayor of Seattle, Kathy Wilson, said one suspect was taken into custody following the incident at a Seattle center which had been hosting the annual Bite of Seattle Food Festival at the weekend when the shots were fired. Assistant Chief of Seattle Police, Tyrone Davis, said second suspect fled the scene and is yet to be apprehended. Report says 2 deaths were confirmed at the scene, with 1 person dying later in hospital, and those injured include a 2-year-old boy. The Seattle Police Department says an investigation was ongoing and urged the public to avoid the area. Representatives of Seattle and Washington State have condemned the shooting as an act of senseless violence.
In today's Heart of the Matter, Olawale Ashake of our Current Affairs Unit writes on intensifying voter education ahead of the 2027 general elections.
As preparations gradually gather momentum for Nigeria's 2027 general election, one issue that deserves urgent national attention is the need to intensify voter education. While election campaigns will soon dominate the political landscape, educating citizens about their voting rights and responsibilities remain the foundation of a credible democratic process. Elections are not merely about political parties or candidates. They are about the people. Democracy can only thrive when citizens understand the importance of participating in the electoral process and making informed choices at the ballot box. Despite improvements recorded in recent elections, many eligible Nigerians still do not register to vote, while others who possess permanent voter cards failed to turn out on election day. Some are discouraged by misinformation, while others believe their votes do not count. This perception weakens democracy and reduces citizens' influence on governance. Voter education is therefore essential in changing this narrative. It equips citizens with the knowledge they need to register, collect their permanent voter cards, locate their polling units, understand voting procedures, reject voter buying, and avoid action capable of disrupting the electoral process. As the continuous voter registration exercise continues, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, political parties, civil society organizations, CSOs, traditional institutions, religious bodies, educational institutions, and the media all have critical roles to play in ensuring that voter education reaches every community, especially rural and underserved areas. Regular programs in English and major indigenous languages like Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa can help dispel rumors, clarify electoral guidelines, and encourage peaceful participation. Special attention should also be given to first-time voters, women, persons with disabilities, and young people, many of whom constitute a significant proportion of the electorate. Voter education should not be limited to election periods alone. It should become a continuous civic responsibility aimed at nurturing responsible citizenship and strengthening democratic values. As Nigerians look forward to another opportunity to elect their leaders in 2027, every eligible voters must understand that democracy flourishes when citizens participate actively and responsibly. Many first-time voters require proper guidance on voter registration, collection of permanent voter cards, PCV, accreditation procedures at the polls, and peaceful conduct during elections. It is equally important to educate citizens on rejecting electoral malpractices by making them to understand that selling their votes may provide only temporary financial relief, but will later result to years of poor governance, unemployment, insecurity, and inadequate infrastructure. As the nation approaches next general election, voter education must not be treated as a last-minute activities. Rather, it should be continuous, accessible, and inclusive in indigenous languages to ensure that every eligible Nigerian understands not only how to vote, but also why every vote matters.
That script on intensifying voter education ahead of the 2027 general elections was written by Olawale Ashake of our Current Affairs Unit and read by Ariola Dada.
Goulburn shark is a species of deep-sea shark that has numerous features. For details on this shark, Emilio Jemidia is on ground.
Goblin sharks are a rare species of deep-sea sharks that are sometimes referred to as living fossils, notable for their distinctive elongated jaws, which are filled with nail-like teeth. They are able to detect the electrical currents emitted by other animals and rapidly extend their jaws in order to snatch up a prey. It is impossible to fully appreciate how horrifying this is without seeing a footage of a goblin shark attacking its prey. Reports have it that this creature was actually the inspiration for the neomorph alien.
That script on Goulburn shark was written by an intern from IFATA's University, Cotonou, Adiola Alatishe.
To end the news on the world today, from the stable of Radio Nigeria, here again are the day's top stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has disclosed that 37.5% of permanent voter cards, PVCs, available for collection in Osun State have so far been collected by eligible voters ahead of the August 15 governorship election. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Anambra State Command, has arrested a suspect identified as Sunday Uke over the alleged possession of a truck conveying 45,000 liters of suspected adulterated premium motor spirit PMS known as petrol. UK Prime Minister Andy Boham has pledged to continue the UK's unwavering support for Ukraine ahead of meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And we also told you that National Federation of Firefighters says the ongoing wildfire in the Gironde region of France will burn for weeks and can take months to fully extinguish.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Modupe Toba edited. I am Remy Omolola from my colleague.
Need answers the name. Thank you for joining us and have yourself a pleasant week ahead. Stay lifted.